Please stand by.
Excuse me, I'm talking.
It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
Warning. What is your name?
I am Jay Ramone, and this is the Jay Ramone Podcast.
If the FCC knew you were doing drugs on the air, shut us down!
This gets more work done more accurately.
I will sit down with bands, artists, chefs, business owners, and fellow Oklahomans to talk about their projects and dealing with day-to-day life.
This stuff can give you brain damage.
This is the Jay Ramone Podcast.
Power of the internet is truly amazing.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm excellent. How are
Thank
you?
you. I'm good. Thanks for taking the time to do this. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Good. My name's Jay. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
This is the Jay Ramone Podcast, and it's available on cat.com, or you can listen to me on Rock 100.5 The Cat in Oklahoma City. I've got Dorothy Martin from the project Dorothy on the line, and she has a brand new record called The Way, getting ready to come out. Been 4 singles released so far. So excited to chat with you today. You're coming to Oklahoma City in May of the Diamond Ballroom, so we're excited to have you.
That's right. I'll see you there. I'm excited to come.
And then Rocklahoma as well, correct?
I believe so, yes. Yes.
Yeah, so twice in 1 year we get lucky. You kind of have some Oklahoma ties or connections to Oklahomans. You recorded a song that was written or co-written by fellow Oklahoman Audra May, and then another track with a fellow Oklahoman, Zac Maloy. From the Nixons. So
I did not know this. Surprise, surprise.
So I just thought that their Oklahoma charm is what drew you to us.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
So talk about working with Audra and Zac, if you don't mind.
Sure. Audra May I think she's based out of Nashville now. And she wrote this beautiful ballad for her friend that is on my last album, Gifts from the Holy Ghost, called Close to Me Always. And I resonated with it. I think, if we've all lost someone or know someone who's lost someone. And my favorite part of that song is the bridge. So if you haven't heard the lyrics, if you haven't heard the song, my personal favorite part of that song is the bridge. And I really, from the first line, I was like, this song is so beautiful. I need a ballad on my album. I don't even remember how we got connected. I think these kind of divine appointments happen. And so things line up in the right place at the right time, if you can see them. And then I was like, she's so incredibly talented. I would love to have this song on my record. So shout out to Audra May and Zac Maloy. That's my bro. He's part of the Four Horsemen. And I got connected with him through my producer, Scott Stevens. And he's an excellent songwriter and just a kind, wonderful human being. And I've been working with him for some years now. And he helped co-write a lot of the songs on the new album, The Way.
Oh, very nice. I did not know that because Zac was just here a couple of weeks ago playing an acoustic songwriter show he does once a year in Oklahoma City. And I missed it. I had to work, so I haven't got to catch up with him in a while. But his old band, the Nixons, that was the first rock band I ever got to see live. My freshman year in high school, they played an acoustic in-store at a record store in my hometown, and I was hooked instantly. And so throughout my career, I've got to work with Zac a bunch, and he's always gracious and comes by and talks to us and stuff. And I'm glad to see he's got some cuts on your new record.
Yeah, he's good people.
So another guitar player that I know and I'm friends with that you have worked with, a guy named Nick Mayberry.
He's one talented young man, let me say, and he's got killer style too.
He's one of the coolest guys I've ever met, and randomly working for a promoter as a runner. He was playing a gig in a small town in Oklahoma, and that's how I met Nick, and we've kind of been friends and hit it off ever since. But on that record, it was produced by Linda Perry. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes, that's.
I'm a massive Linda Perry fan, from her producing skills to songwriting to her as an artist. So I am extremely jealous you got to work with her.
Oh, yeah. It was, I was up for experimentation. So we wanted to try a different sound on 28 Days in the Valley, and like psychedelic desert rock is what we called it. So Nick toured with me through that album cycle, and it was so fun. We went on tour with the Struts and Greta Van Fleet, and it was just such a fun. I remember having so much fun on those tours, and I had 2 guitar players in our live show at the time, which I miss, but but I also have Sam Colton now, who is absolutely fire and incredible. So it's just a different thing. And once in a while, we'll just throw a second guitar player in the mix to beef things up. But we don't, Sam can carry the whole show on his own. Literally, he's like such a rock star.
So reading reviews and articles about your sound and people describing what you sound like, they've described your vocals to those of some legendary vocalists like Grace Slick and Janis Joplin. And then there was some people who threw in Lizzie Hale in there. Tell me about your influences and how would you describe your sound?
Well, I don't know how to describe, my vocal sound. I feel like voices are very unique to each individual, like a fingerprint. I feel like I grew up listening to Janis Joplin, and then a lot of, I would try to emulate these what I saw as big, powerful, enigmatic female vocalists. Whitney Houston, Aretha Franklin, and so I just learned dynamic, powerful. I was going for power. I wanted my voice to be like a Ferrari, and I'm not, I'm still working on it, but hey, those are huge compliments, and I really appreciate them. And I have a background in opera. And I just was like, hey, if I can sing opera, I can sing anything, it was a good foundation as a vocalist to have that experience.
So let's talk about the new record, The Way. You've got 4 singles that have been released so far, and the latest featuring Slash. What was it like working with such a legendary guitar player?
It was awesome. He's very kind, very humble. I mean, he's just been nothing but supportive and like a cheerleader. And, I got in touch with, I don't know, I don't even know how these things happen. Like I said, they just seem to happen to me. But Mike Klink, who produced GNR, was like, hey, do you want to do a Triumph tribute? It's for charity. And I said, yeah, of course. So I did. I Live for the Weekend. And then, he's really close with Slash. And Slash is like, would you like to sing Key to the Highway on my blues tribute record? And I said, absolutely. Yes. I always say yes. When opportunity knocks, just go ahead, go with it. That's how I feel. And it was Slash. Like, why would I say no?
Right.
And then, I'd never really done, I feel like, a real classic blues record like that. So it was really fun. I feel like my voice kind of just, another side of it came out almost, is how I felt in the studio. And then when we were wrapping up The Way, Scott Stevens and I sent him a bunch of songs, and we're like, we'd love, to have you do a solo if you're down, just take your pick. And he chose Tombstone Town, which is great. I mean, it's perfect. And I was like, we're shooting a video, and, please bring your best hat and let's rock.
Did you get to put the hat on?
No, it stayed on his head the entire day. I would never. Hilarious. I have my own.
So you've been at this a little over a decade now. If you could go back in time and give your younger self advice who was just starting out, what advice would you give yourself?
That's such a good question. Everything's going to be okay. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. Don't freak out. You're in the right place. It's one day at a time, and you're headed in the right direction. Just, let go and let God, have some faith, and just keep walking this out. And Rome wasn't built in a day. So I've been doing this 10, 11 years. And I feel like I'm just getting started. It's so crazy.
It's weird. You think 10 years is a long time, but for a musician, you really are just hitting your stride at a decade in.
I've noticed this trend of decade under the belt of the musician seems to be a magic number. Lainey Wilson, Chappell Roan, and they're like, I've been doing this 10 years. I'm like, they seemingly pop out of nowhere. And it's like, oh, they've been grinding
for a long time.
For a while. It just feels like forever. I definitely feel like a different human being than when I started. I'm a new human being.
If you could go out on tour with any bands, who would they be?
Scott Stapp, Creed. I'd do Hailstorm again in a heartbeat. They're so much fun. And I like to kind of, I like to not have expectations and see where life takes me. So it could be, a country artist. Oh, that's right. Corey Marks is coming on tour with me.
Very nice.
We're starting the tour and I'm like, yeah, he's like country and rock. Cool. Yeah. So, I'm open to whatever, I feel like what's meant to be will be. But yeah, those are some of the bands I wouldn't say no to.
It's weird. I try to explain to people in radio who work in rock radio outside of the Midwest of what it's like being in Oklahoma. Is the Oklahoma music listener listens to everything from country to rock to hip hop to all of it.
Yeah,
and so we're living this time. Like if you would have asked me 15, 20 years ago, you're never going to hear Whiskey Myers or Co Wetzel or Hardy or any of those country-leaning artists on a rock radio station. And now,
great, man.
Yeah, and now all of those artists are getting airplay at rock radio, but they all came up in the country scene or the red dirt and Texas country scene, and so it's kind of cool to see all the lines getting blurred finally.
I love it. You know what? I was just watching. Hardy's great. You just read my mind. That's another artist I'd go on tour with in a heartbeat. I saw him do a guest appearance with Creed in Nashville, and his vibe is so good. And I just watched his Jimmy Fallon performance of Psycho, and I've been doing a deep dive, and I would do that tour in a heartbeat. So and I love it. I've always said that, rock and country are sister genres, and then where they overlap and meet is kind of like where I like to dabble, a little Southern rock, a little bluesy, soulful rock and roll with some country twang.
If Lynyrd Skynyrd had come out today in 2025 as a brand new band playing the music that they played, they would get played at country radio. They would totally be ignored by rock radio. And so now it's all come together finally.
Yeah. You're right. I think we're onto something here. I like this mashup.
So one other thing that I've heard you talk about in interviews is your love of true crime and documentaries. And those are my two go-tos. It's either true crime or music docs or true crime documentaries. And so I want to get, what you're watching right now, something I should definitely be checking out.
Yeah, you know what it is? I think I want to figure out how these mofos think, Yeah.
I
don't want to be I don't know. There's something, if it's too grisly, I can't watch it. But I can't think right now. I'm drawing a blank, but there's been
I'm way more into the psychological part of it than necessarily the gore. I want to know the why and all of that.
Same. Yeah. I want to know the why. I want to know how these people think. I was just watching the Gabby Petito one. There's so many on Netflix. There's no shortage of true crime on Netflix. Again,
none.
I have a line. If it's too grisly, I can't do it. But I think I like how forensics works and psychology, and I think most girls are into true crime. Maybe it's a self-defense sort of thing.
Sadly, that's our reality, that you have to think like that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I didn't want to end it on such a negative note, so we'll end it talking about your record. You've got 4 singles out right now. What is the next one coming out?
Okay, yeah. So Tombstone Town just entered the top 20 at Active Rock, which is wonderful. I don't know if I can say, I don't think it's been announced, but let me tell you this. I've never had this problem with an album before, and I guess it's a good problem to have. It's so hard to pick singles. That's
a good problem.
And everyone's got a different favorite, and it's like, man, it's so tough to pick. Like it's been a challenge. So it could be anything. I'm pretty sure I know what it is though. And I'm going to just surprise you all.
Well, Dorothy, thank you very much for taking the time. You can check her out in May at the Diamond Ballroom here in Oklahoma City, and then again in Pryor at Rocklahoma. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Bye.